So the coach stopped me. The coach like, man, like you're gonna be a great player one day, blah blah blah. I'm like, yo, like I'm actually like a D1 athlete because we had other D1 guys on our team.
Even like I heard this quote, it's like when you start fasting or something, the devil gonna come knock on that door. Like once you try to do better, the devil gonna come knocking on the door.
Being in Baltimore for so long, you see so many people who come in. Like I remember seeing kids freshman year used to be one of the smartest kids in the class. Like used to answer every question, used to raise their hand, and then over time they just assimilated to the environment. Over time, I assimilated. Like I still was able to keep my own head on, but it's like, yo, like you could be so much more different than everybody else, and that's what's going to make you special. Like by him being the best at what he do, because he loves it that much, he get the money behind it a lot, and that could go for anything. That could go for sports. That could go for a project that you're doing, like a passion project. You could be the best philosopher in the world and not even know it. You could be the best anything. You could have an idea and then just work on that idea, and you're gonna be rich off that just because you really wanted to do that. Like you never know. And I ended up playing football in high school, and then that ended up popping off. Had a good grades in high school. Was able to move throughout that situation. I ended up getting an offer to Harvard. Went to Harvard University, and then now, as fate has it, we right back doing a podcast together. All growing up.
It's crazy how everything align. Where we align well for well-being.
Didn't get big, but it was like 20 people today. So
I had my first you watch How High?
Yeah.
That's how I had a class like that. I got a class like that this semester. It's dope. I'm like, bro, it's so many people. But let's go ahead and get into this, man. Welcome back to another episode of Sofa Prosperity Podcast, man. I hope y'all been taking care of yourself, man. We got a special guest, man. I ain't gonna lie, it's crazy. We just talked about a whole lot, as y'all seen in that intro. Like, it's gonna be deep. It's gonna get deep. I hope y'all just take notes, man, and learn how to just get better. But go ahead and introduce yourself, my boy Josh. Josh Fed.
Hey man, my name Josh Fed. I'm a sophomore at Harvard University. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. Then I moved to Bartlett. So long story short, man. So I used to grow up. I used to hoop in Memphis, Tennessee. And that's how I know Dev. Dev, my guy. Used to grow up together, packing at the lunch table together. You feel me? Then I ended up moving to Baltimore. Maryland. Then I didn't want to play football at all. Then I ended up playing football in high school. And then that ended up popping off. Had a good grades in high school. Was able to move throughout that situation. I ended up getting an offer to Harvard. Went to Harvard University, and then now, as fate has it, we right back doing a podcast together. All growing up.
It's crazy how everything align.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, what was the transition to going to Baltimore and going to Dunbar High School? How many state rings you won?
Two.
Two?
Yeah.
It was two. That boy got that Baltimore. Say it again. Say it again.
Got two rings. So it's like it's crazy. It feels good, but that was the expectation. Like, it was weird because I wanted to play basketball. Like I went to Dunbar High School, so like if you go on YouTube and look up Dunbar High School, you're gonna see all like the basketball highlights. Like you're gonna see Muggsy Bogues, you're gonna see like the Keith Booths and all that. Like all the people, Reggie Williams, who came out of Baltimore that ended up going to the league, Hall of Fame type guys. And so I'm like, yo, I'm trying to keep with them. But little did I know, Baltimore wasn't like a basketball city at that point. They had kind of transitioned out of it, but they did have great football. So I'm like, you know what? Like, I'll play football. Like, I played football in middle school a little bit. So I'll go ahead, play football. And just, that sports transition, like, it was great for me. And it was just God, telling me, like, yeah, this was going to get you out your situation. But just, moving to Baltimore in and of itself, it was tough because I never grew up with a lot of money, but my mom had put me in a position, like, so I lived in, like, this little apartment complex, Bartlett Heights. So it put me right in that. It put me like right in the heights, man. Like, man, that's another topic for another day. But the moral of the heights is that like she was still able to get me into a good middle school, regardless of the money we had. So I was able to go to middle school, take honors classes with people way smarter than me. So I was able to get that prerequisite knowledge, just being able to, okay, like I'm in a class with people who really want to learn and encourage me to, be in that learning domain. And so when I moved to Baltimore, like we moved like right back to the trenches. Like I'm living people in Baltimore know I'm living down the hill with my grandmother. Like my mom don't got a house at this point, so I'm
Yeah.
just okay. I'm trying to go to wherever school I can go to. So my uncle had told me, he was like, "Yo, if you want to play basketball, if you want to play football, just play sports in general. Go play down Dunbar." So I get to Dunbar my first day at class. I'm looking around. It looked totally different from Elmore Park. That was the middle school
Yeah.
we went to, and so it's like you don't see not one white person. Only white person you see is maybe like a teacher, like the
Yeah.
Spanish teacher or something. So I'm looking around. I'm like it made me feel good because I'm like looking at people who look like me. But I'm
Yeah.
also like this feel different because
For
I'm not
sure.
around people who got more money than me. Like we all either on the same level or like these kids like just coming up
Yeah.
from nothing, and we all had the uniform joint. We all uniform and all that. I'm like, dang,
Oh
like
yeah.
this look crazy. So it was
Different for
easier.
sure.
It was different, and it was a great transition for me to just learn, okay, like this is how you move in these situations. And it turned me into a different man because it was like, it wasn't
Sure.
like I was the sore thumb sticking out. I had to learn how to be myself in a sense. I don't gotta, form myself to like any white kids to try to like me or any white teachers try to like
Yeah.
me. If I'm just myself and I just do what I gotta do, like my character going to shine in and of itself. And that's what's been happening, ever since like throughout college. So it was a great, transition for
Yeah.
me just
I
to
wanna
go from that. Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna ask you like on that transition. Like I had a transition like that like recently
Mm,
from college. I went to HBCU. Now I go to
mm,
Memphis.
mm.
Bro, it's so crazy. It's like I went to Grambling first, and like that transition of like you said, you don't gotta. You could just be yourself around your people. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You gotta do this. You could
Mm.
just be yourself. But when you
Don't
come
gotta do
to
too much.
you come to Memphis, you gotta. It's like you feel like you just. I feel like it's just different. You gotta watch how you carry yourself even more. You gotta be even more cautious because they just ready to profile you type thing. How is that like transition from going from Dunbar to Harvard? I know that transition is like, oh my god, like crazy.
It was tougher than I thought. Cause I feel
Yeah.
like in Baltimore, like one, you always looking over your shoulder. Like I tell this story to everybody.
Man.
So I remember like I came out of Baltimore and it was like just to kind of preface like if you look at like Dunbar where the school is at, like when I'm getting off the bus, I used to take the bus to school. I would get off the bus and you gotta walk past Douglas Projects. So like
Yeah.
every time you go past Douglas, like you don't never know what you're gonna see. Like since it's like a school right there, like nigga, like you don't really get robbed right there, but like you always gotta look because you never know. Like it could be a junkie right there. Like you never know like what could be going
Yeah.
on. So when I get to Harvard, I'm kind of on the tip, like I'm not smiling at nobody. I'm just looking over my shoulder, like okay, like let me scope out the scenery. And so I'm
Yeah.
looking. So I remember I'll never forget this. I had my lunch tray. I'm going to lunch or whatever, like the diner hall, I should say. So I'm going to the diner hall and I got my food. And so this black lady, she walked by me. And so I'm looking at her and I'm kind of like looking at her just to like see who she is. And so she smiles at me. And so like she don't know me. She ain't never seen me before. Like this is like one of my first days on campus. I
Yeah.
look at her like what? Why you just like like give me all this energy. Like in hindsight, I'm looking at it like I don't know why I just did all that over a smile, but it was a
Yeah.
hard transition because nobody treats you that way, back
Yeah.
home. You feel me? Like nobody just smiles at you just to smile or just like tries
Yeah.
to be nice. And I had to realize like, oh, I'm in a whole different place. And it took me a couple months to realize like there's a whole different game. Like if that lady would have just walked by me and
Yeah.
not did nothing, there's a chance that I could have been like, oh, that lady's mean. She just another like mean black lady. Like I don't want to talk to her. But she doing that so she could show me like, okay, like,
I'm
oh yeah,
nice.
like I'm nice. You can
Yeah.
approach me. I'm somebody you can come to. You feel me? And I didn't really even like process that until like later down the line, until I really learned the game of Harvard and all that. But it was a tough
Yeah.
transition. Like I'm just now kind of understanding like the games you gotta play with the game within the game, I should say.
What's the word? What's the word? That code switching in a sense.
Code switching, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's
learned
tough.
something in school in class today. It was in oral communication. She said culture and co-culture. So like the
Mm,
things we learning, like when we around people, there's us. When we around us, your people, your family is just your culture. When you get
mm,
around different people, that's your co-culture, and you gotta
mm,
adapt to that in a sense. Like so, you gotta respect that culture in a sense. And like that's
mm,
something I learned today. It made me think about like when you was talking about just two different cultures. Like somebody might, my teacher had the same exact example you said. She was being nice somewhere in England, then she would go back to India and be nice, and her mom be like, "Why you acting like that?" It's just like those two different cultures, so you got
mm.
to get used to it.
Yeah, like what's funny about that is that it goes back to an Elmore Park story. I ain't thought about this in a minute.
Yeah.
So I remember I was in. We had a science teacher. Her name was Miss Pettigrew. She had just got there. She was this nice black lady, and so we.
Yeah.
So I remember I was at the lunch table. I'm at the lunch
Yeah.
table. I'm talking. I'm checking with Dave, Katron, all the guys. You feel me? So I'm checking. So the white kids, I didn't realize the white kids like
Yeah.
peep me. Always sit with them at lunch,
Yeah.
but then I come in and act a whole different way. As a kid, I'm not really like picking up the fact that I'm code switching, but like when I'm with my guys, I'm
Yeah.
one way. I'm with y'all, I got to act a different way. And this
Yeah.
kid, I'm talking to Miss Pettigrew in class, and this kid, I forgot who it was, but they had told me, they were like, "Yo, like Josh, like you talk way different. Like when you were at lunch talking to the other black kids, like when you in here, like you don't talk like that." So I'm looking at him. I'm like, at first I was kind of thrown off. So I'm like okay, like that don't really got nothing to do with you, but that goes
Yeah.
back to that culture and co-culture. Like when
Yeah.
I'm at the lunch table, I'm in my culture. When I'm with y'all
Yeah.
trying to learn, I gotta be in the whole. I'm in my co-culture. I gotta switch off, and it's an easy
But
switch off, but it's going from even
yeah.
from the lunchroom to the classroom. Like,
But do you think that that's important though? Like to have that, I feel like that's so important
I
because
know it is.
you don't want to like a lot of people they would think that's weird, and a lot of people don't
Mhm.
have that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to. I get uncomfortable, like get around people that that's your culture because that's an opportunity to grow in a sense because they gonna teach you something you never heard of, you never did before. They beliefs, and
Mhm.
it'd be crazy just being able to open up like that and meet new people. That's a powerful thing too. Cause like I know you said like honor classes. I know you learning something different because everybody in that class
Yeah,
smart.
yeah.
Nobody that's everybody excelling. So you're forced to learn to get better.
Mhm. Yeah, you can't be afraid to learn that. That's something that saved me. Like
Yeah.
now, like because I could have because in high school I was valedictorian in high school, so it was easy for me to just
Ooh.
be like, okay, like I'm because once I got all that prerequisite knowledge from middle school, I just knew how to
Yeah.
play that game. So I'm like, well, I gotta try to level up at that point. But at Harvard, like if I didn't have like the that experience before in life, just like not being the smartest and being able to sit back and learn from other people, I would have had a tougher time because it's like I'm not able to sit back and listen to other people. Because most of the stuff you learn at
Yeah.
Harvard don't be from professors. It's not professors. It's not the content. It's listening
For
to other
sure.
people talk. Like
Yeah.
that's really what it is.
That's real. Like
Mm,
I told somebody in college, I said, man, when you go to college, bro, it's not about the classes you take because that's guaranteed. You gonna take them. It's about
yeah.
the people you meet and the people that can teach you something new or something you never knew. Like it's just
Mm,
about them connections and like even this connection right here. I didn't even think about this podcast till like a month ago. I asked you a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
I can't even
You asked
think
me
of
a
it. It's
minute
like
ago. No, it was no. You asked me like I think we were still in the season. Like we were
yeah,
still in
you
football
started.
season.
Yep, starting the season. You text me back.
Mhm.
Yep, and I was like,
Yeah.
kind of had another player like that. My boys, like I'm trying to go ahead and get. I want them to get a different perspective. These high school students, I know you already know what to do in college. You doing it.
Yeah.
So you want to
Yeah.
get these high school students a different perspective. And like I know for me, I wish I had like the mindset I had now, and like you said, to have that code switch even better. 'Cause I was good with white people. I went to a white school. I was
Mhm.
still good,
Mhm.
but I could have been even better. Just being able to
Mhm.
soak it in. I feel like high school, I was strictly coaching, no co-coaching, strictly coaching, just
Mhm.
lit. So I
Mhm.
had the college. Now I'm trying to get out my bubble, get uncomfortable. You say like just get
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Got to, got to.
You gotta
But I
be
want to
comfortable
ask you
being
a question
uncomfortable.
for sure, for sure. I want to ask you a question though. Like, what was the first time you was like, I'm a D1 athlete. They can't mess with me. I'm a D1 athlete. When was the first time?
The first time, ooh, probably okay. When I knew I was that was I remember we were
Yeah,
on our second state championship run, and I
yep,
remember like I had like some offers before. I think I was getting like picking up smaller offers like Morgan State. I think like
yep,
Maryland started to look at me, and so like the offers starting to kind of pile up. I think I had like 8, 9 offers at the time. So we playing this team
yeah,
Elkton. And so it was this purple team. We knew we were going to beat them because like they just didn't have the guys that we had. So like
yeah,
the day before the game, I think it was the day of the game. Actually, I remember the kids were texting me. I had got like 2 offers like in school that day. So the coach pulled up the day we had the game, offered me. I posted the offers, and so one of the kids texted me like, oh, like, let me get your autograph after the game. But I didn't like read the message, but I saw it like
Yeah.
come up on my screen. So I'm like, ain't no way he just did that before the game, yo. I'm like, okay, cool. But he deleted after like 30 minutes before I can even look at it. So I was ready to screenshot it. I was like, oh
Yeah.
dang. Yo, so I get done with the game. So I had like 2 sacks that game.
Yeah.
Like I got interviewed after the game by like the Baltimore Banner or whatever. I'm like, okay, like that feel good. Then we do our last
Yeah.
lap around the field because it's like I think that's our last home game at
Same
Dunbar. So I
night.
walk around the field. You feel me? And so
Yeah.
the coach stopped me. The coach like, man, like you're gonna be a great player one day. Blah blah blah. I'm like, yo, like I'm actually like a D1 athlete because we had other D1 guys on our team, but
Yeah.
it's like, yo, like I'm really
Him.
that.
Him.
I'm really that. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that probably was the moment because before that, because I never got in my head about it because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like I got an opportunity to go to school and like hoop, like that's all I wanted to do. But now it's kind of like, oh, like you
I can
got to be
do it.
one of them. You feel me?
You got
So
to go. So when that happened, what was like? What was that mindset? You was like, I got to go even harder.
it was like I got to go even harder, but I could play free now. Because now
Yeah.
I just know, like, if I hit you with this move, I know I'm better than you. I know I'm faster than you, stronger than you,
Yeah.
better than you. Like, my coach, he always told me, he said, you always practice like you're going against the best guy you ever going to go against. But then when
Yeah.
the lights is the brightest and you're going against a guy who not as strong as you, not as fast as you, he don't got the technique you got, that's when you show out. And I started to realize in high school, like, oh, that's
Yeah.
every guy I'm going against.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, like now it's time to turn up. I'm hitting them with cross chops. I'm hitting them with all these moves.
Yeah.
I'm setting up the move in my head beforehand, and it just carried me through. Like that
I
gave me
can
the
see you.
ultimate.
I can see yo. I can see. I got. Let me not cut. I can see you doing it because you big as a bud and you
Yeah,
fast. You different. You
it's just
you.
like
That's crazy.
right, it got crazy in high school. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
High school, I was balling, man.
What was your best game you think in high school?
Uh, either senior year state championship game or it was I had a game like with like 20 tackles. I got player of the week, but
Yeah.
like that didn't feel like the best game because
Yeah.
it was just I just happened to be at the ball. Like, but 20
20
tackles in a
tackles
sack,
is crazy
like,
though.
as a DN, like that's OD because it's
That's what
like
I'm
you always at the
saying.
ball because they just wasn't blocking me. So I'm like I'm
Yeah.
ready to get this tackle. But like state championship game, it was just like I think it was like 2 games after that game I just told you about, and it was
Yeah.
just like I came out first half like I had an okay first half, had
Yeah.
like 4 tackles maybe. My coach told me like, yo, lock in because we about to I think we was down like 13-14.
Yeah.
So once we got second half, I had like 2 sacks, second half, 2 TFLs, like 7 tackles, won the
Yeah.
game. I'm like, okay, like this is how you want to go out. Like
Yeah.
that's like it was a great day.
That's a perfect way to go out and get the state
Yeah,
championship.
yeah. Interview after the game, press conference. It was tough. Like
That's when I would have been like, I'm him.
what? That's how I was feeling
Yeah.
after the game. It's like I'm him. I'm him. I'll
Dang.
never forget. I looked in the stands. I was telling my mother like, "Ma, I told you, ma."
Yeah.
Like
That's
it
fire.
was. Yeah, it was tough.
That's fire.
So
What you think the biggest sacrifices you had to like make to get to that next level? Or now that you at the next level?
to get there, I
Yeah.
feel like it didn't feel like I made a lot of sacrifices to get there or to
Yeah.
get here, I should say,
Yeah.
just because it was like this is all I knew. All I knew was to work
Mm.
hard. Like even like when I was playing basketball back in the day, like all I had was motor. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really have that much skill. I was just kind of out there just running, going as hard as I could. So it was
Yeah.
just like I carried that. I always had that motor to just keep going. So like to get here, it was just me being me. But now that I'm around people who got motor, like who got the size, who's stronger than me, bigger than me, whatever the case may be, it was just like the sacrifice of just like not letting people waste my time, even
Yeah.
though I might want people to take away from the like distractions I might have with them in myself. And like what I mean by that, I said that a little wrong, but
No, you good.
I, what I mean in the sense is that like I had a problem really because let's say I'm doing work, I'm doing football, like I'm working out probably like twice a day. I'm waking
Yeah.
up in the morning, then I got schoolwork, and then I would like let other things distract me, like letting like my friends like, oh, you want to go to a party, or you want,
Mm.
or like a girl text me like, oh, you want to do blah blah blah, or whatever the case may be. And it's like I kept letting that kind of get in my way, even though that was not something I really didn't want to go. or want to be with said person, but it's just something to take my mind off of all the stress I'm putting on myself. But then I didn't realize till maybe like last semester that a lot of the stress that I put on myself is self inflicted. You know what I mean? A lot of it's self inflicted because really the greatest reward I always get is when I get to the end of that journey, or I should say mountain per se. Like I'll get to the top of that mountain, look around the mountain, and then start to climb the next one. And because I climbed that first mountain, I can get to an even higher mountain.
Yep.
And that'll always be more rewarding than me, wasting my time with, functions or wasting my time like just lollygagging with friends or whatever the case may be. Like it's always that climb. I had to really learn like I love the climb. I don't love all the things that come with the climb, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy what you said. Like the when you reach the top of one mountain, that's the bottom of the next, for real.
Yeah.
And like that's how I realized, like the same exact story, like freshman year, bro. I'm just partying, bro. Lit. I'm lit. Yeah. But I had to change my perspective. I'm like, bro, everybody lit right now. What if I'm the person that's not lit right now, and then I'm lit at 30, 35, all through for the rest of my life, I'm lit. I was like, damn, that's a different way to be lit, though. Like I already be that lit that I had to focus, like sacrificing. Like my birthday 2 days ago, I ain't do nothing. I'm just focused on making content that I streamed that day. That's all I did was stream. I'm just focused on growing because like that's one of the things I had to sacrifice. Like you said, those distractions. It'd be those little things like. Even like I heard this quote, it's like when you start fasting or something, the devil gonna come knock on that door. Like once you try to do better, the devil gonna come knocking on the door. So like you gotta be focused on keeping the main thing, and don't allow nobody to knock you off that. Cause like you said, everything's self-inflicted. You putting yourself in every situation. You got a choice. You got a choice, my guy. So you gotta make sure you make the best choice. And I had to learn that, bro. I'm still learning that. I'm not perfect. Like I'm still evolving. It's like, oh my God. I wish I knew that way back then.
Yeah, and it's just like this life all about decisions.
Yep.
Like it's all about what you make it too. Like, because I feel like even what you were saying, like about I'm at this party, and imagine if I'm the one who work a little harder, and it's like like even just in regular life, like you see that and you're like, wow, like I'm looking at people who are in their 30s and 40s, and it's like they don't live the life they want to live because they might have missed out on one opportunity they might have not knew they had if they weren't doing something else. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like that's how I'm looking at life. I'm never trying to waste an opportunity because I got the ultimate opportunity. Like God bless me immensely. You feel me? So it's like I'm like, okay, like let me try to do this and do this because once I'm done with it, it's over with. Like because we only got one life to live. Why not like make the most of it?
I want to ask you a question. You want to go to the NFL?
I want to go to the NFL. Yes, I want to go to the NFL, but I'll never bank on it. Like,
yeah, I know what you're saying. Cause you smart too, but
you
NFL talent. I want to run this back in the NFL. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
we gonna run it back in the NFL.
We gonna run it back in the NFL
for sure.
And it's one of them things like. I used to be so focused on like I want to go to the league, I want to go to the league, I want to go to the league.
Yeah.
And it's like what's interesting about Harvard that'll always like blow my mind is that kids will get here, whether it's through sports, whether it's through academics, and then because they got the security of the degree, they'll just be on some. I don't really want to go to the league no more. I don't want to accomplish my goals no more. Let me just get a job, make like $150K a year, work my way up to be corporate. Now I'm making $400K, my family good. And it's like, and I can't knock nobody for that. Yeah. But it's like at the same time, it's like even I got caught up in that. I'm like, Dad, I don't really need this football thing no more. But it's about the love of it. Like, if you really love something and you talented at it, and God bless you to do that, you could shorten yourself from your potential. Like I feel like I got the talent to go to a league, whether I go to a league or not. It's like who is somebody else to say I can't go? Who am I to say I can't go? If I put in the work and I work every single day, and I come in day out, come in early, stay in late, and I don't make it to the league, I'm gonna be like, okay, like I did everything I could. But people live with that regret, and that's what I'm not trying to live with. Like for right now, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna go to the league. If I don't go to the league, I'm not gonna sit back and be like, Dag, like I wonder what I could have did if I did this. I'm never gonna say that.
Yeah, that's a positive mindset too. Just keep it like that. Cause you want to stay balanced. Like most of the people I was watching Jeff T podcast, he was like, I wasn't even thinking about the league. I'm just thinking about hooping. Like they just thinking about if you
It's,
stay
it's the love of
present,
it.
yeah, just staying present. I think that and the love of it, that's very powerful because you're gonna keep doing it. Now, I was just talking about my other podcast. That's crazy. Like I was just talking about like the passion over income. Like just thinking about like doing it for
Mm-hmm.
love instead of like starting a podcast. He had asked me how to start a pod, like what was my advice for people who want to start a podcast. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
just go in with like a vision and loving it instead of going in thinking I'm gonna make money. Go in offering somebody like how to get better. Or somebody offering like for me, it's just my slogan is aligning wealth and well being. So I'm offering people like different ways to get wealth, different ways to different mindset ideas, just different things.
Mm-hmm.
So just instead of doing it, you gotta enjoy that journey too, dog. Like you gotta love it
Yeah.
because the journey is the key. You gotta love the journey. You just got to, because the destination gonna come if you love that journey.
Mm-hmm. And the destination, like, I feel like people get caught up with the most tangible. Like
Yeah,
everybody want like the end goal. Like people, even like
yeah,
somebody like Castanet, for example. Everybody look at Castanet, be like, I could sit in front of a computer and then stream and then get like millions of dollars.
yeah,
Like, God, I'm funny too. It was never about that for bro. He just
yeah,
wanted to like he just wanted to make people laugh. And by him
yeah,
being the best at what he do, because he loves it that much, he get the
yeah,
money behind it. A lot, and
for sure.
that could go for anything. That could go for sports. That could go for a
Yeah,
project that you're doing, like a passion project. You could be the
easy.
best philosopher in the world and not even know it. You could be the best anything. You could have an idea and then
Yeah.
just work on that idea, and you're gonna be rich off that just because you really wanted to do that. Like you never know.
Yeah, like that's for sure the key. Like you never know
Mm-hmm.
until you try. If you don't try, you will never know. So you might as well
Yeah.
try. Like you might as well give it like a shot. Just shoot your shot
Mm-hmm.
one time,
Yeah.
dog. Hey, if you
Yeah.
might miss it, dog, you gotta shoot it again. You gotta keep shooting until it go in. It's just everything, like you said, everything go together in a sense. You can make
Mm-hmm.
everything go of life, cause like life is just that precious. I'm gonna ask you about this
One.
too. How did winning state impact like where you wanted to go for college? Like, was your goal like did it switch like when you won the first one, or was it the second one? It's like okay, I'm different.
Winning the first state. What's crazy about the story in high school is that my first state championship, I didn't play
Yeah,
until we got to the playoffs. Because I remember I was playing like O tackle because we had somebody who was playing DN and they just had more
yeah,
experience and they were tough. I ain't gonna lie, like the kid in
mm-hmm.
front of me, like he was tough. And so I remember I was in practice one day. Our coach, he saw that I come in, I work hard every day. I don't complain about like not playing or whatever the case may be. And I remember
Yeah,
he put me in at D tackle. Mind you, I'm like 205 pounds. Like I really can't play D tackle for real. But he put me in there. He's like, you know what, Josh, you're gonna be starting for the rest of the playoffs. I'm like, bet. I ended up going crazy in the playoffs and then getting that first championship. And I was just doing it because I worked hard at it. I just wanted to be good at football. It wasn't about going to
yeah,
even on our last conversation, like it was never about like me going to
yeah,
college or me trying to go to the NFL. I just wanted to be good. Like just being
yeah,
good at football was enough for me. And then once we won the state championship and I saw like them coaches like at our game, coaches hitting me up, seeing like how I played, how my teammates played, I'm like, oh, this this is a reality for me. So like the
yeah,
state championship kind of just made it more of a reality. Then doubling
mm-hmm.
back with that second one, like then it was about the climb because the more success we had and the more games we played, the more opportunities I'm gonna have to put stuff on film. And it was just like it went from trying to get the offers. Because once I got the offers, I was like, okay, now it's time to win, and then getting that second state championship made me feel as though like, oh yeah, like I could really play at the next level because I done led my defense to a championship. Like my
Yeah,
man's Tony and all the guys like on my team, like they were able to
yeah,
lead that offense. I'm leading the defense, and I really was like,
mm-hmm.
okay, like in a real setting with real D1 athletes, I can
Yeah,
play at a high level. I can compete at a high level. I can think the game. I can play the game. So like those state championships really served more as milestones than anything. It wasn't like the mentality
yeah,
of where I could play. It was just like the first one was about just being great at football. And I
mm-hmm.
understood like, okay, like this can be a reality playing football at the next level. The second one was about that climb. Because I got
Yeah,
to the top of the first mountain, now it was time for that second
yeah.
one.
Ooh, yeah.
So
I
yeah.
know that. You think the second one was harder than the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because our team was just us. It's always different
yeah,
when you're a senior. because
Yeah.
we had like the younger guys coming in and like and I say the younger guys now, but like we have like the kids that we're playing with, like they at Rutgers now, like they D1 now. By the time they like 13, like they freshmen, we like, okay, like let's see if they can really hoop with us. And it was hard trying to get them on the same page. And like the teams we will blow out by 50, we only, torching them by 20. And it's like we should have put up 30 more points on them. And so it was just like we were struggling. Like state championship game, it was down 13-0 first quarter. And we was like, dag, like this team still like the last team where we can just blow out the team and then like get home and get our championship and then go to bed. Like is we gotta really fight for it. So it definitely was more of a challenge because like instead of looking up to the leaders, you're the leader. And you're the one who gotta stay calm through everything and be like, okay, like we gotta recalibrate, just come back and play every drive. Like we had a saying like there's no momentum in football. Because there's offense plays and defense plays. Like the offense plays the defense. As a defense, we're just playing the offense. Like every drive, it's a whole new drive. It don't matter if we down by 20, 30, if we up by 30, that's a whole new possession. We trying to win that possession right there. So it was hard even when you down. Like it's one thing to say it, but then to live it, it's like, okay, like you gotta be able to like practice what you preach, in a sense. So it definitely was like harder to get that second championship because I'm in that position to really lead.
You gotta lead, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. What would be your advice to someone that's like trying to be on that, they're trying to climb that mountain and get not even D1 scholarship, just go to college and play football?
I was I would say somebody who's just trying to play football, like any sport in general, like
Any sport, just
you
come
gotta
D1.
you gotta love the grind of it, and if you don't love the grind, you gotta really dedicate yourself to that challenge because it's just like because you could be especially with somebody with natural talent. If you're somebody who's not naturally talented, you gotta love the grind because you gotta be able to work every day, day out, day in, day out. Because you gotta be able to train every day. Because you can't wake up out the bed and just jump 40 inches. And if you're somebody with that talent, then you gotta realize like you still gotta work harder than everybody else because once you get to that next level, it's gonna be somebody who can jump higher than you no matter what. They might not have as much skill, they might not think the game like you, but you still gotta, you know, work harder than them to take their spot. Cause like you and that other person not gonna be the same. But if you aspire to be D1, I would just say like just let a game. Because everyone says they want to go D1, like for whatever reason, whether you want the stature, if you want to play in front of all the fans, you want to do this, like, but you have to love the game. You gotta love the hustle. You gotta love whatever brings you joy in that sport. Like in football, there's a lot. Like our coach always tells us a story about this kid North Peters, and he talks about he probably didn't love football like that. The one thing he did love was moving a man against his will. And that was the thing that kept him going, and that's what made him a great football player. For a basketball player, you might love the flash of it. You might I love being able to step back and pop it over somebody. Because you might not love the game, but you love that feeling. You feel me? And you gotta find what you love about it and really let that carry you through. Because a lot of times, like going D1 it's not what it's like hyped up to be. Like you're gonna have to wake up on the early mornings. You're gonna have to, you feel me, like put in that work. You're gonna have a coach yelling in your face. Like coaches get paid off this. That's their whole livelihood. So if you want to go D1, like you gotta understand that, and you gotta have that immense love for it. You feel me? Like just keep grinding. You gotta love the game, love the grind, love the hustle, and really hone in on what you really love about it. Because if you don't love it, then it's gonna show once you get on campus for real quick, super quick. So
That's fire. That's for sure. Like you had, what's an example of like it not showing like that love not showing, like not working out, them extra workouts, like little things like
it's
that.
really I feel like it can show in one or two ways because somebody could not love it but work hard at workouts because they want to assimilate in and they feel like they'd be different or they'd be counted out if they didn't work as hard as everybody else. But you see it outside. Like they're the main one. Man, I don't want to wake up for the workout. I don't want to. You feel me? Like they're the ones always like complaining, and it's real prevalent here because it's like not even just here, but like Ivy League schools in general. Because if Ivy League schools, there's no scholarships. So like, let's say I got accepted into Harvard and I got a scholarship from Harvard. Once you get accepted, you could quit football like that moment. Like there was
Mm.
like I think like Dartmouth for like Penn, like one of the quarterbacks, like he got accepted to the school. He was like one of the like a 4-star quarterback. He got accepted to the school, ghosted the entire football staff, blocked him and everything. But he in Ivy League school, so it's one of them things where kids will like, you feel me, like they'll feel like, okay, like I'm here, and it's like I don't really need football. I don't really need this, and it shows in their workout. Like they don't show up late. They don't think about football up night. They don't watch film. They just go out there. Either they sit on the bench and don't care, or they just play uninspired football. You
Yeah.
feel me? So it's easy to see that. But then even just on the people who want to play but aren't inspired the way like a lot of other people are inspired, like they won't show up.
Yeah.
Like they won't have that fire in their eye every time they line up to play football. Because you can see who really wanted it and who don't, and who love it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because there's a lot of kids who don't play and forget they love it. Then once they step on the field, you see it. You like, because once a lot of kids like you won't play freshman, sophomore year.
Yeah.
But then as soon as junior year hit, you see that kid you saw when you were 17, 18 in high school. You're like, oh yeah, he loved the game. He just didn't love the process of getting to it.
Mm.
But
that process.
Because once you get through the process, it's like, okay, like you really love the game. You was just kind of, you just didn't play, which is fair. But then you see some people who even when they get in that mode, they don't. You don't see it in their eyes. You know what I mean? Like you just don't see that extra effort. They might just be the more talented, but they might not work as hard as the next guy. And as a team, that's why I'm so happy about like our team now, because it's just like we have a group full of guys that's, you see it in all their eyes, like during workouts, during practice, during meetings, like they all locked in, like we all trying to get to that next like pillar, you know. So that's what I mean by like you got like somebody showing it or not showing it, you know.
That's hard. That's hard. I ain't gonna lie. That's hard. You got any questions for me before I end this off?
Oh, whoo, boy, do I got some questions for you?
But your accent is killing me,
Man, it's
dog.
crazy, ain't it? It's crazy, ain't
I've been trying to let it slide, bro.
it?
I've been watching Breakfast Club. So you sound like
just hilarious. Yo, bro, she over east. She from over east. She cool, bro. I love
yeah,
Jess.
she
Yo,
fine.
yo, what's been on your journey? Because I've been watching your journey too, man.
Yeah.
On your journey, what was something that you felt as though? What was the biggest shift in mindset that you had to have while becoming an adult, becoming older, understanding like you only got one life to live? You know.
I think probably a car accident. Like
Mm.
I had a car accident my senior year. I was still hooping still. Senior year, my first before I came back from injury, like first game, had a car accident. And it showed me like, man, life is precious. You only get one life. And like I was going through some things just mentally. I had got hurt first game, so like a lot of stuff just going on. So like then I had got to a point where I was just like, okay, this car accident, it made me just like, I gotta make sure I take every day I gotta make sure I get better every day in a sense. Like take it serious. I wasn't taking life serious. I was BSing. I was just following the crowd, not being myself. Like everything just locked in after that. And I just started to just I cut my hair too. So like after I had the car accident, cut my hair. Like it was like, hey dog, hey dog, hey dog. It's about the symbolization of just like healing my like letting go of the old version of who I was. Like cause I don't even think I feel like I don't even feel like you know this version of me in a sense. Cause I was
Yeah,
way different. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I feel like I had to just heal and just be a new person and just become somebody that can help the world. So it really was just God. I don't know.
yeah,
It was God just kept pushing me and nagging me to be better. So I had to become better. And I believe.
yeah. Man, that's tough, yo. Like, and it's interesting what you said. Like, I don't even know the new version. Like, I feel like, and that's what the beautiful thing about like linking up like this, right?
Yeah.
And just seeing like, I see the growth. Like, and we all like, man, like we all, we all got to experience certain things, and like,
Yeah.
no matter like how far like two people may, you know, get apart from each other. You feel me? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like those shared life experiences, no matter if you in Memphis, no matter if you in Baltimore, no matter if you, go to a HBCU, PWI, there's these things that everybody got to experience at one point or another. You feel
Yeah.
me? And having this link up back at the end, like, it's
It's
crazy.
crazy. That's what
Like,
I
it's crazy.
it like it's wild. And I like it's a good thing though, just to like always keep in touch and always never burn them bridges.
Oh yeah,
The
for sure.
importance of not burning bridges is like just this right here, because it just made me think about so much. It's like it's so many people that's doing good things in the world. You never know what that person can do, share to the world. And like I had to like always remember. I had a networking event. We hosted a networking event with 3 other entrepreneurs, and I was like, dang. It's so important just to meet new people and have that diverse. You gotta diverse your the people that's around you. You gotta have people that's offering different things. Somebody said if you're the smartest person in your group, you in a cage. Cause like you can't get better. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that was one of them things. I was like, dang, that's fire. Me.
You're the smartest person in your group. You in a cage.
Me.
That's real.
He told me that. Like, dang, that's tough. That's tough. That's real mud.
That's real. I can't even lie. Man, that's tough. I'm so happy you told me to do this podcast, bro. Like this. Yeah. This was tough.
Now this is fire for sure. Like it's going, man. I'm gonna be back next year or NFL. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it and just keep growing. This I got some more. I was talking every athlete. D1 athlete I'm talking to. I said I want to see y'all in the league now. I believe in y'all. Like
appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Man, how I want to end it though. How I want you to give advice though. I want you to give advice to your younger self or to the younger kid, the younger audience.
If I could give advice to my younger self or a younger audience, one thing I would say is that don't feel like, and it's hard to do this, especially as a kid, but like, don't feel like you ever gotta be like assimilate to the crowd. Don't try to run away from assimilation, because assimilation is how people get caught up in certain circumstances. Like growing up, like being in Baltimore for so long, you see so many people who come in. Like I remember seeing kids freshman year used to be one of the smartest kids in the class. Like used to answer every question, used to raise their hand, and then over time they just assimilated to the environment. Over time, I assimilated. Like I still was able to keep my own head on, but it's like, yo, like you could be so much more different than everybody else, and that's what's going to make you special. Like you see all these people now who are doing different stuff in high school. Like I remember watching like interviews. Like I was watching an interview from Lil Yachty yesterday. He was like, I didn't care I was different. Like that's what made me special. The fact that I was different and I stood out. And that's why everybody looked at him like, oh yeah, like you're different. Yeah. And some people, even if your peers like look down upon being different, like you can. It's so maybe those don't need to be your peers. Maybe you need to go branch out. Yep. You feel me? Like, and I feel like everybody gets caught up in, I want to do this. Like, I want to smoke like everybody else. I want to drink like everybody else. I want vaping look cool. Like, those are things that when you get older and you look back, I'm looking back now at all the people who, I used to do that with, or people who, used to do even, crazier stuff. And I'm looking at them now. I'm like, no, like our lives turned out completely different. Yeah. And it's like, like I dared to be a little bit more different. Even though I still like fit in, like it still was in the crowd, like it was still known, like, oh yeah, like Josh is still a little bit different. But I could have been even more different. I could have been even more free. Yeah. So anybody like who's younger, who is going through like a certain time in life and you're different, just run away from assimilation. Try to be somebody a little bit different. Try to be more of what makes you special, So that's the advice I want to give.
Man, that's powerful. I want y'all to remember this. Be different, bro. Be different. We ended it on that. Be different. See y'all on next episode. See y'all on next episode. I love y'all, man. Like, comment, subscribe. We out.